Dads with daughters, out of all of their boyfriends, which one did you hate the most and why? I personally never hated any of my children's interests. But I do remember having a girlfriend whose father hated me so much he thought it'd be funny to put me on a horse that wasn't tame and let me ride it. Was my first time around horses and almost ended with me being thrown. Jokes on him cause I married that girl. We get along now. He's not so bad once you get past the trying to injure me bit. I had been saving a mango for days waiting for that perfect ripeness. Almost ate it one evening but decided that one more night would be perfect. The following day my daughter's arsehole then boyfriend decided to eat that perfectly ripe mango before I came home from work. Never forgave him. Also he was an entitled jerk in many other ways. Never come between a man and his ripe mango. My dad hated my high school boyfriend because the first time they met, my boyfriend told him, unsolicited, how to make a bong out of a pomegranate juice bottle. Wow, you dated a real idiot. Mofo emptied all but one ice cube out of the ice cube tray and didn't refill. End him. In high school when I met my girlfriend's father for the first time he asked me how long my arms were. I said I don't know, maybe 32 inches. His reply was I want Amy 36 inches from you at all times. Double quote. This was a social distancing premonition. It's funny because my two daughters thought they had a read on me and didn't. They thought I wanted the male college graduate from a prosperous family. I don't know how they came to that conclusion. One is gay and one has fallen for an army guy. I like both of their choices because they work hard, respect my daughters, and will stand up to me to defend them, not viciously or anything. The boyfriend I hated was the one where my daughter was trying to please me. He was going to engineering school, prosperous family, nice car, and good grades. But he was an ass. Would pressure her to do things that got her in trouble, and made her think he wanted to marry her in high school if she would wait. He was manipulative and wasn't respectful of my daughter, me, or my wife. I'm glad he moved and is out of the picture. The new guy has nothing but respect and a hard work ethic. Her current, first, 1. She's 16 and in love and I'm trying to be supportive but this boy is a complete asshat. He frequently blows her off to play video games. Is never on time when they are supposed to meet up, by like hours, and just doesn't seem to appreciate her or her time. I've told her this multiple times. And have subtly suggested maybe they should take a break but they're still together. At least she's going to learn something from this relationship, hopefully. I know my first relationship definitely taught me a lot. The one that I don't know about. I just heard that in my dad's voice. And I'm a dude. This guy dads hard. My father hated my first serious boyfriend, but was almost always warm and welcoming to him. I asked him recently, I'm now 45, why he didn't ban me from seeing him or stop him from staying over. His answer was that if he'd done that then I'd have run off with him and got married and it would have been a disaster. He was absolutely right and I'm so grateful he let me work out myself that I didn't want to live with a cheating speed freak. My best friend was a huge womanizing douchebag in his 20s. He slept around a lot. He used women. He was manipulative. Honestly. He was an asshole in general. He's really grown up a lot. Has a successful career now and settled down. He's married now and has a daughter. They're expecting another daughter. I laughed so hard when he found out he was having a girl. He was everything a father would warn their daughters about. I can't wait for this time in their life to come around, lol. My dad absolutely hated the one that traumatized me, so I guess that's no surprise. My abusive ex was the worst piece of shitty and wasn't only shitty to me but my family too. Especially to my dad. Then again, this fucker was probably a psychopath. He was discharged from army boot camp for homicidal urges. As an soldier. I gotta say, it's probably for the best he got kicked out. I've also met more than few guys like this. We don't like them any more than you guys do. Guy comes rolling down the driveway on a ratted out, semi-bobbed Honda motorcycle with no baffles in the exhaust. He stood about 5 feet 7 inches 120 pounds. Wearing a leather vest. No shirt. Biker chaps. And 0 helmets on the bike. I thought it had to be some kind of practical joke. His name was Ace. He told me this from behind much too large aviators. Cocky little bastard. He attempts to fist bump me at the door. Calls me dude and calls my 18-year-old daughter sweet tits when she walked out of the house. Guess who stayed home and watched movies with daddy that night? Not the dad but the boyfriend here. I went to pick her up and she informed me that if he ever saw me on their property he'd put a round in me. Turns out I worked for him as a taxi driver and he did not like me as an employee, so the punchline? It's been 20 years of his baby and I have been married. But does he like you yet? The one who became her first husband because I knew his parents and that spousal abuse is a learned behavior. Well shit. I've got that to keep an eye on about myself in the future. Middle Eastern dads have entered the chat. Fuck's sake. It's bad enough for the guys, or at last it can be. My dad, Arab, was driving home and saw me walking with a girl. Oh shit. Was there hell to pay when I got home? My daughter is 11. I'll get back to you in a few years. I hope. You still have the chance to make sure that you never have to post here again. Do it. Not me but my Sil's last boyfriend. He was a total bag. Made inappropriate jokes about their sex life in front of the family. Was always talking shitty about others behind their back and literally just smoked and played video games all day and relied on her to pay rent, food, etc. He did carry me to some Warzone victories though, so there was at least one positive out of the relationship. What were the jokes like? I enjoy cringing. So far, I've hated them all. She is only 16 and has only really had 3 boyfriends. None serious. Only 3? I didn't have a boyfriend till I was 18. The one that always went overboard with sir bullshit after he was told I was in the special forces. It's simple. I have a f-king name and IHAVNT been in SF for 3 years. Okay sir. I will keep that in mind sir. Good day sir. My parents weren't keen on my boyfriend cause he was the type to make money out of nothing. So they thought of him as being a hustler. They love him now. I married him and he is a great father and husband. How'd he make money from nothing? Well, for me it is pretty simple. I want her to make good decisions. And that means choosing someone who also makes good decisions. The only people I have ever had a problem with are those that don't make good decisions about their lives. IMHO, teaching your kids to love intentionally is the best life skill you can give them. I had terrible taste in boyfriends, so when I brought my now husband home for the first time, my dad was literally cleaning his guns in the living room to intimidate him, I guess. But my dad was impressed when he recognized the guns and started chatting about them confidently. Well, my daughter's dad hates all boyfriends now and to infinity of our 16-year-old. That's why she doesn't tell him anything. I know which ones she's talked to. I'm also a teacher, so I have an inside track. I've been okay with the ones she's liked. Right now, one of my former students is a tentative beau. Even though he's 18. He's very respectful in every situation I've witnessed and heard about the 2 years I knew him, and now I know his mom and what she expects. Even better, he knows I will kick his ever-loving ass if he acted up. I like that level of fear and respect. Doubly awesome. He's off to college soon on a baseball scholarship. I hated my daughter's boyfriend because of what he represented. Otherwise he was a good kid. Brother with sister here. The one that my family hated the most was the one that came back into her life. Talked her into leaving her husband of 25 years and 2 kids. And moving in with him. Do you need help to get a show or ally brothers between? Brother of a sister. I've probably hated every one of her boyfriends. Including her current husband. They were going through a separation. Which did not hold. They are back together. But he argued in court that she was going to commit suicide with a knife. I wanted to kill him on the spot. There is no way in hell she would do that. Leave her kids to him. Never. He knew it. I knew it. But he lied anyway. I was in nuclear mode. Can't stand him. My parents didn't know about us dating, but when we were just friends they hated him. He verbally harassed me and manipulated me and my best friend, his ex. He would say sexist things to me and then get offended that I wouldn't laugh. Thank God I broke up WMBC. I knew it wasn't something I wanted to pursue. No matter how sweet he could be to me. Not a dad with daughters, but I met my best friend now by dating his daughter. His daughter and I didn't last 2 years, but he and I have been friends for over 35 years. Apparently all her previous boyfriends had been pieces of crap. One so bad that he threw him bodily over his car hood for something he said. 2020 hindsight, I dodged a bullet with his daughter. Nice enough person, but we would have been divorced in less than 5 years. My dad and stepdad both hated my ex. And honestly so did every single person in my life. But the worst thing he said to my stepdad happened after I picked him up from downtown after a night of drinking. I brought him back to my house. And we were in the living room with my mom and stepdad. I don't remember what happened in between this. But he told my stepdad how he was going to FCK me. I'm a single mom of a girl. She's almost 20 now, but when she was about 16 she brought home this boy and I evaluated him. I like to think I'm a pretty easygoing mom. But I flat out forbid her from seeing this idiot ever again. She brought him to a family picnic and we kept telling me and our family that if we wanted good vodka he knew where to get some and could hook me up. That he only drank the best beers and had a good collection of liquids. I finally told him to go home, and that a 17-year-old bragging about the high-end alcohol he consumed wasn't impressive to anyone. God, I hated him. This one little shitty was a total good for nothing. No job, in fact never had a job, and spent his days sitting watching TV. They were officially a couple for about a year. Though he didn't take her out for a meal even once. I didn't see it going anywhere, and thankfully it didn't. Maybe I was being too hard on him. Both of them were only 3.5 years old. But you've got to look out for your daughter. I have disliked every one of my best friend's boyfriends. Unfortunately she is now marrying one of them. Is this the one I hate most? I'm pretty sure. But it might be just because of the fact that I know I'll have to deal with him until their eventual divorce. I was the boyfriend. So one of my first girlfriends had a really bad relationship with her dad. He was controlling, emotionally abusive, and mentally abusive. He despised me because of the fact I always encouraged her passions and gave her somewhere to go that he couldn't control. For one Halloween I found Ouija board mints, and he instantly thought I made her join a cult. We stayed friends even after we broke up, and I still want to beat the shit out of her dad. I'm super lucky. My daughter was suffering from bipolar disorder. She's okay now, and was ostracized by most of her friends. One boy reached out and befriended her while she was sick. They've been dating for 2 years now. She's in college now. He's joined the Marines and was recently accepted to their recon unit, their special forces. She has a love letter from him on her fridge. And whenever I read it I think how lucky I am that they found each other. His parents are super cool too. I hope they get married someday. My middle kid's boyfriend. I hate him with a passion. She's made so many bad choices while with him. I know her choices, I should blame her, and I do, and he encourages them. They abuse drugs together, etc. It's a mess. And he's just a jerk. Tried to pick up on my youngest while she was a minor. I know her problems won't go away even if he was gone. But good lord, do I just want him to go away. For any guys reading this, if you are unsure if you're treating your girl right, ask yourself, would I like my daughter treated like the way I treat my girl? If the answer is no, then change. Now. It's irrelevant. My daughter, like my son, is capable of choosing her own friends and lovers. I loved and respected her and taught her to respect and love herself. She also knows her life and choices are her responsibility. The people she chooses in her life will respect her because she values herself. The protective father, vulnerable daughter bullshit paradigm creates unhappy people. Older brother here. And I despised pretty much all of my sister's boyfriends. But one I absolutely hated was some douchebag who had a brother who was in prison. His entire family were criminals to some degree. The police knew him on a first name basis. That's how bad it was. The police also knew I hated the guy. And they even told me if he turns up missing or dead, you know we're going to be looking for you. Right? My response was, if I did it, I'll come to you. Double quote. Not a dad but a woman with a dad. One of MTX's hit me one time and I made the mistake of telling my dad after we broke up. Luckily my ex moved abroad as I think my dad would go to prison if he ever managed to lay hands on him. My dad hated my ex. He bowed theatrically when he met my family and made a mockery of how important it was for me to have them all meet. Little worst first impression, and it only got worse from there when he turned emotionally abusive and slept with my friends. Years after the breakup, my dad saw my ex walking the street in the city. My dad, who is typically kind and passive, hacked a mouthful of spit snot at him and kept walking. Older brother here. Little sister brought this dude to a winter cabin rental. OMG. 3 days and this dude never stopped talking. He was slightly a know-it-all. But it was way more annoying that he felt we all needed to know his opinion on everything. My 3 other siblings were all very nice to him. But once the weekend was over we could not stop ranting about him, not telling my little sister of our disgust. Luckily she figured this out on her own and she broke up with him a month later. You know what's nice about this thread? It's almost all good reasons. Seems like dads have good noses for trouble. Or maybe they're not blinded by affection and can see the red flags. Either way, screw Greg. So this is the exact opposite of the question. But I once had a boyfriend whose father I did not like. The first time I met his dad, he asked me if I was a stripper because he said I have a stripper name. Who asks their son's GF if she's a stripper? The first time they meet? Big brother here. Can I say the guy who came to meet my family because he was dating my eldest younger sister and the first 2 things out his mouth were, where is the shitter and any if you have some weed I could really use with a smoke of some of that shit. You're a f***ing idiot. My daughter had her first boyfriend. Piece of work asked if she wanted to be his girlfriend and then ghosted her after a week. She had to see him every day at preschool. But he wouldn't talk to her for some reason. Her tiny little heart was broken bad. And I wanted blood. I get regular nightmares about one of my sister's boyfriends. He shows up. Like he always did. Never leaves. Like he never did. And no one listens to how much I hate him. Like no one did. I was gaslighted to hell and back regarding his behavior. I hate him so much. I can't quite grasp or describe it. My current brother-in-law is an angel and I'm so grateful for him. But the memories of this one person just won't go. I had a nightmare last night. My sister dated this guy. Lester. What a hunk of shit. Lester got her into debt. Did not even make an attempt to help her pay. Spent all his money on weed and then needed handouts to get through the month. On top of that, the 25-year-old twat was so childish that a 6-year-old would look adult compared to him. He cheated on her. My dad stayed quiet through all this. He just said that he can only help her if she wants his help. Anyhow, this went on for 5 years. One night my dad gets a call from my sister. They are at a party with his friends. He's drunk and she made a comment about drinking and driving and punched her. My dad and 2 brothers went to pick her up. Never saw him again. Think he moved out of town that day. My dad only met 2 of my boyfriends. Liked one. Major red flag right there, so I dumped him. The other he met in passing when my grandpa died. Not really a good time to talk. Dad's out of my life and I'm busy not being a perfect wife with 5 kids and a house a mile down the road from him. Instead I'm single. Happy. And do what I want. He hates it. Fuck you. Hondo. I mostly hate all of them. I'm old and of course. It's not that I don't understand their generation. It's them. And I stand by it. Insert Skinner meme. But it's not up to me. I've always been very open about the fact that I only care about how they treat her. It doesn't matter how I relate with them. That being said, I'll stab a kid if he doesn't treat her properly. None. I have 4 daughters. And the partners they have chosen to be in their lives are great. Smart. Solid people. I credit their mothers with helping them understand what really matters. I'm definitely my father-in-law's least favorite. He's been 100% raw stinking fish arsehole to me for well over 20 years at this point. Even though he's the one that sucks.